Hey, what's up, you guys? My name's Maria, and I'm going to be talking about why we should teach media literacy in school settings. With the increase in access and technology, the majority of individuals in the US have access to the internet and online platforms. With this increase in access, the internet has become a space where people not only consume content, but make it as well. Individuals have opportunities to access, remake, and contribute to various sites, and there is no doubt that the younger generation has grown up around media and it has become an integral part of their lives. However, the way young people use the internet may vary from person to person. Confronting the challenges of participatory culture, Henry Jenkins talks about why we should teach media literacy and three core problems that are present in participatory culture, or a culture in which individuals not only act as consumers, but as producers as well. The first core problem Jenkins points out is the participation gap. The participation gap can be defined as the gap in online knowledge between students who have internet access at home and those that only have access in school and have been limited in both time and access. Those who have spent more time on the internet have acquired extra skills that those with limited access have not. In turn, Henry Jenkins states that children and young people are divided into those for whom the internet is an increasingly rich, diverse, engaging, and stimulating resource of growing importance, and those for whom it remains a narrow, unengaging, if occasional, useful resource of rather less significance. Consequences of the participation gap include a division in media literacy and experiences online, leading students who have had less practice online to struggle, keeping up with their peers. Another problem Henry Jenkins mentions in confronting the challenges of participatory culture is the transparency gap. The transparency gap refers to the challenges young people face in learning to see clearly the ways that media shapes their perception of the world. As Renee Hobbs puts it, determining the truth value of information has become increasingly difficult in an age of increasing diversity and ease to access to information. With endless content online, students are struggling to determine what information they can trust and what information might be false. Sometimes information might come branded or sponsored by specific agencies and create untruthful biases, bending the truth and presenting inaccurate information. Jenkins calls for the closing of a transparency gap by increasing our efforts to educate young people about the processes that take place behind the scenes to ensure students are retaining truthful information. Lastly, Jenkins mentions the ethics gap. The ethics gap refers to the lack of ethical norms students need to cope with a complex and diverse social environment online. Teaching students about different cultures and conduct online may serve to build individuals that are aware of differences across media platforms online, along with strengthening young people's public roles as media makers. While some students, such as those that participated in high school newspapers, are more familiar about the consequences of their words, other students lack awareness on consequences of their actions online. In NPR's Ethical Handbook, they mention that as a journalist, one must be aware of different cultures across media sites, the consequences of their posts, and issues regarding accurate information. Since anyone can post anything online, one must always strive to find the most accurate information to avoid creating untruthful stories. The internet is filled with thousands of fictitious accounts, and anyone can easily dismorph any type of content due to technological advancement. Due to the dangers of the internet, NPR came up with 10 core principles that are meant to guide their journalism. These principles include accuracy, fairness, completeness, honesty, independence, impartiality, transparency, accountability, respect, and excellence. By teaching students ethics of online participation, students will be more aware on how to act and access information across online media platforms, as well as promote a more respectable and honest space online. Personally, I think that teaching media literacy in schools is beneficial to not only students, but everyone that accesses the internet. Acquiring internet skills, understanding people's motives, and being aware of online culture and the consequences of one's actions may serve to prevent misunderstanding and build a more informed public. I was quite shocked reading the USA Today article about the Brown student who decided to end his life due to false accusations on the internet. Sadly, I know this is just one of the many stories like this one, and as the internet and media technology is becoming more incorporated into schools and everyday life, there is a need to educate students on how to use the internet in smarter ways. As a daughter of two immigrant parents that grew up in the rural lands of Mexico, no one taught me how to use the internet, and I accessed social media sites such as MySpace, Facebook, and YouTube at a really young age. The dangers of these sites could have been 10 times worse if I didn't have an older brother to guide me, and this might be an issue that many students face when no one takes initiative to inform them about the potential dangers online. Students come from different backgrounds, and some might be disadvantaged by issues outside of their control, such as SES. The Jenkins article mentions that the participation gap begins by unequal access of media, which in turn leads to a gap in internet skills. Not all parents, like mine, are informed about the benefits and dangers of the internet, so it is important that online skills are taught in schools to begin narrowing these gaps among students. Teaching students how to use the internet, distinguish truthful information, and understand the consequences of their actions online may serve to create a more accurate, information-rich, and safe space for future generations to enjoy.